All right, let's jump right in. You've probably heard this buzzword thrown around a lot lately, Web3. So what is it? Is it just a bunch of hype, or is there a real plan here to basically rebuild the internet from the ground up? We're going to break it all down.
But first, let's start with a question that gets right to the heart of this whole thing. Who really owns your data? I'm talking about your photos, your private messages, your search history, all of it. Seriously, take a second and think about it, because the answer is the whole reason Web3 even exists.
You see, the internet we know has gone through different phases. Right now, we're in what's called Web 2.0. That's the read/write web. We can read stuff and we can write our own stuff. Simple enough. But Web 3 wants to be the read/write/own web. And that one little word, own, that is everything. It's the entire game plan. It's about taking back control.
So to really understand where all this is headed, we first have to get a crystal clear picture of the internet we're using right now, every single day. Let's talk about the web we know, a very centralized world.
This is our world, the Web 2.0 era. And look, it's given us some incredible things, amazing ways to connect and do business. But it's also done something else. It's funneled all the power back to the center. A handful of massive companies have become the gatekeepers to our digital lives. And that's actually a huge step away from what the internet was originally designed to be.
The best way to picture our current internet is like this, a hub-and-spoke model. See that center? That's big tech. And all of our data, our conversations, our creative work, it all flows through those central servers that they control.
And, when you build a system like that, you run into some pretty major problems. First, privacy goes out the window. Our data is their product. They become data monopolies. And what happens when one of those central servers goes down? Poof! Entire services we rely on can just disappear. But maybe the scariest part is the risk of censorship. One company gets to decide what you can and can't say or see.
Okay, so that's the world we're in now. But what's the alternative? This is where things get interesting. Let's explore this completely different vision for the internet, this new digital frontier, and the huge promise of Web 3.
So what is the decentralized web? Well, it's a direct answer to all those problems we just talked about. It's a network built from the ground up by tons of independent computers all talking to each other. It's designed to be super secure and, importantly, resistant to censorship because there's no single company, no central server to shut down.
And just look at the difference here. It's night and day, right? Instead of that hub and spokes, Web 3 is like a mesh, a web. The power isn't stuck in the middle. It's spread out across the entire network, among all of us, the users. Every point is connected to lots of other points.
So here's the most important thing to get. This isn't just a tech upgrade. This isn't about making websites load a millisecond faster. It's a fundamental, philosophical shift. It's about hitting the reset button and going back to the original idea of the internet, an open, transparent network where we, the users, are actually in control.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but how in the world does any of this actually work? What's the engine running under the hood that makes this whole decentralization thing possible?
It really all starts with the blockchain. Now, don't let the technical name scare you. The absolute simplest way to think about it is just as a shared digital notebook. Every time something happens, a new entry is made. And once that entry is written down and confirmed by the network, it can't be erased or changed, ever. It's this super secure, transparent foundation that no single person or company owns.
Now, built on top of that blockchain foundation, you have something called smart contracts. And I love this analogy. Think of a vending machine. You put your money in, that's the condition, and the machine automatically gives you a snack. That's the outcome. Smart contracts are just like that, but for digital stuff. They automatically enforce rules and agreements without needing a bank or a lawyer or any other kind of middleman.
And when you put these pieces together, you get dApps, or decentralized applications. These are apps that can look and feel just like the ones on your phone right now. But here's the huge difference. Instead of running on a server owned by a big corporation, they run on that distributed blockchain network. That means no single company can shut them down or change the rules on a whim.
So, okay, we've got this powerful new tech stack, but let's get down to brass tacks. What does it actually mean for you, for me? Why does any of this matter in our actual lives?
Let's just put them side by side, because the difference is, well, it's stark. In Web 2.0, corporations control your data. In Web 3, you do. In Web 2.0, the censorship risk is high. In Web 3, because the network is distributed, it's really low. In Web 2.0, your privacy is basically an afterthought. Your data is the product. In Web 3, privacy is supposed to be built right in from the start. It's a complete flip of the power dynamic.
And this new way of thinking is already inspiring a whole toolkit for privacy. We're seeing new browsers being built that don't track your every move, new networks that help you stay anonymous, and really clever ways to use cryptography so you can prove who you are without having to give away all your personal info.
Let me give you a really concrete example. Think about a musician today. They have to go through a platform like Spotify or Apple Music, right? And those platforms take a big cut. Well, in a Web3 world, that same artist could use a smart contract to sell their music directly to you, their fan. The contract handles the payment, it delivers the song, and that's it. The middleman is just gone. The artist keeps way more of the money.
But, and this is a big but, we have to be realistic. This isn't some digital utopia that's going to arrive tomorrow. The future of this new web is very much unwritten, and it's filled with both incredible promise and some pretty big dangers. On the one hand, the promise is huge. A more inclusive web, totally new ways of doing business, more power for individuals. But on the other hand, the challenges are just as big. The technology is still kind of slow. It can't handle millions of users all at once yet. Governments have no idea how to regulate it, and honestly, it's still way too complicated for the average person to use easily. Getting everyday people on board is a massive hurdle.
Which really brings us to the final critical question. The internet we have today, it's easy. It's convenient. We know how it works. It's our digital comfort zone. The question that Web3 is forcing all of us to ask is this: is the promise of a freer, more open internet, one where we are in control, worth the hassle of leaving that comfort zone and learning something new? The answer to that is what will define the next chapter of the